Hello, and welcome to the Wings Across Alabama Self-Guided Creative Workshop. This self-guided creative workshop was adapted from Share Your Story, a how-to guide for digital storytelling published by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. You can download and view the full PDF version of the Storyteller's Guide by clicking the link in this module. Welcome to Module 3, The End, Putting It All Together. But before we get started, let's take a minute to take a couple of deep breaths and invite yourself to use the next few minutes to focus on your creativity. As we get started, please remember that you can pause the video if you want additional time to work through any of the steps. In the previous modules, we developed a topic and audience for your empowerment video. During this module, we will put all the pieces together to create a final video project. Looking back over the previous two modules, review your topic, your audience, and the resources that you'd like to use to tell your story. As we begin to create an outline for assembling your project, please remember that this is a short snapshot of something specific you'd like to share about your story. Your final video should be around 3 to 5 minutes long, so you will not have enough time to tell your entire story. So as you begin framing up your empowerment story, think about what details are the most important to include in order to communicate your message in 5 minutes or less. Here are some tips for making great stories. Be truthful. Stories are powerful if they are honest and real. Plan what you'd like to say and how you'd like to say it. And keeping in mind, this doesn't mean revealing personal or private information that you aren't comfortable sharing. Strength. Remember to focus on your strengths and tell a story of empowerment. Focus on the strengths you have developed that support your recovery. Plot. Stories with impact have an attention getter early on that draws people in. This could be a memory or emotion that shows the storyteller's experience. An example of this might be starting off your story with, "I remember the first time that," and then share your experience. Length. Your project should be 3 to 5 minutes long with no more than 20 images or video segments. Your final project may simply be a recording of you telling your story, or you may choose to add photographs or videos from your personal collection. You might also decide to add music to help enhance your story. Practice telling your story out loud. Pay attention to the rhythm and tempo of your speech. Include silence and pauses as needed, especially after sharing something important or profound. Now that you have your topic, your audience, your resources, and you've practiced telling your story, we will prepare an outline to organize your ideas for making your final project. As we move into this final phase of putting the pieces together for your final project, just keep in mind these are simply suggestions to help guide you along. You are free to put your story together in any way that you choose. So starting with section 1, the beginning, you want that part of your video to last about 1.5 minutes, and you want to focus on introducing yourself and sharing about your early experience with mental illness. Remember to keep this part of the video brief and to the point. The second section of your video, or the middle, should be about 1.5 minutes long. And in this section, you want to talk about the turning point in your life when you realized things could be different. You can also share about any activities, relationships, or supports that you learned as a part of your recovery. Final part of the video, the end, should be about 2 minutes long, and this is where you talk about the things you have done since your recovery. Here you want to focus on your accomplishments. It may be that you started your own business or you went back to school. Perhaps you've written a book or you've perfected a craft. Whatever it is you'd like to share about where you are now, this is the place to talk about it. And this is the longest part of the video. And then finally, at the end, offer a piece of advice that you would give someone who was going through a similar experience as the one that you had. As you begin recording your story, it can be helpful to have another person to ask you questions to help you tell your story. The other person does not need to be on camera, and you can edit out their parts if you do not want them to appear in the final version. Most of the videos in our Peer Empowerment video library were created using this method. Once you have recorded yourself telling your story, you can leave it as is if you're happy with it, or you can use an app to add personal photos, videos, and music if you'd like. Remember that you cannot use copyrighted materials. PowerPoint or Google Slides are fairly easy to use and can support your recorded story along with additional photos or videos. Canva is another app that can be helpful for editing your recorded video and adding visuals and music. If you choose to use an app to finalize your video, please remember to add a title slide to the beginning with your name and the name of your video. Check out the videos in our Peer Empowerment video library for example of ways to finalize your story. Once you have completed your video project, you can add it to the Wings Peer Empowerment video library by emailing it to peers@wingsacrossal.org. Congratulations! You have completed the creative workshop. As you're working on your story, difficult emotions may arise. Please reach out for support to a friend or family member, or you can always call the Alabama Warm Line for support